Hey, folks, this is Nick.
And I'm Brandon, and this is Coast to Coast. Fantastic. No, dude, I don't know about you, but we just wrapped up with our first ever guest. And dude, that was fun as shit. I had a
Pretty
blast.
cool.
I had a blast. That'll obviously be the episode that was aired last week. So for anybody, checking it out, wondering what the hell are you talking about, go to that previous episode. And if you're on YouTube, watch it. If you're out in the podcast world, listen to it. We had Mary on the show, and we were talking about all things karaoke and music, and it was fun. I had fun. Dude,
She's cool.
She knows somebody who played guitar for freaking Elvis.
Yeah, it's nuts, ain't it?
Or something like
that. Yeah.
That's insane, dude. Like, I wanna talk to that person and just like, you know me. I very rarely am speechless, right? But I just wanna get that person on the show and just, "Okay, sir, go." I'll just sit
Talk.
back and listen. Like, you just talk.
The stories.
What was it like? Go. Oh, dude. Could you imagine? Like, you're touring around, whether it's the nation or the world or whatever the case was, with the freaking king, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how insane of a story would that be? That's just
I would
so
tell him,
freaking
hey, would you like to relive the glory days? Because I sing just like the king. Let's go.
It'd be awesome if he would just come back and be like, all right, prove it.
All right, let's do it.
He just like picks up a guitar and just starts playing. Like, okay, go.
And then I'm like,
just I've always been fascinated with, I don't know how I can put this eloquently enough to not offend certain people, so I'll just say it, elderly individuals and their stories.
Oh, they
Like,
got
for
good ones
me,
usually.
oh, dude, they got the best, man. I worked with this guy. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't have permission, but he was, I consider him one of my mentors. And I worked with him at the job that I was at prior to my current position. And he's in his 70s, okay? I think I can get away with saying his first name. It's gonna be weird. I've never actually said his first name. So first name's Dave.
Just millions of
dude, I
Daves.
got goosebumps. Like, I have so much respect for him. I've always called him by, anyways. That was weird to say his name. So I'm not going to do that again. We'll call him Bob from here on out.
Bob.
But, he was in his 70s and he had this history behind him of being with the fire department and law enforcement departments and being a teacher and being in the military and all this other stuff. And I mean, dude, like, I would sit down with him and we would chat and he would start telling stories, right? And I would just sit there just flabbergasted. And I would just listen. I could listen to that man talk and just tell his
Oh, yeah.
stories for hours, dude. Like, I will straight up not say a word while he was doing this. And it blew me away, like.
Yeah, there's some older guys I've talked to. I had the same thing. You just said you could just sit there and listen, man. Their stories just engulf you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I think people, not necessarily just kids, but people in general, kind of take for granted a little bit, I mean, I remember before my great grandfather passed away, we would go over to their house for Thanksgiving every year. My great grandma, my great grandpa Dunlop. And grandpa was an avid outdoorsman. I mean, cutting down, trees on his property with a freaking axe, and then using split and maul to do it all. Like nothing was automated. There was no equipment, nothing whatsoever. In his like late 70s, he's doing this. He's going on crazy hikes and whatnot. He split it up between different trips. He didn't do it all in one stretch, but he hiked the entire Sierra Nevada mountain range.
It's crazy.
Freaking cool. But I remember as a kid, my grandpa Dunlop would tell these stories. And as a kid, you're like, I just want to go play. I just want to go do this. I want to do that, whatever. And you kind of take those experiences for granted. And I think a lot of people do that. Like, I find myself right now in this specific moment in time, like, I want to call my grandma tomorrow and just ask her straight up, because she was born in 47. Just be like, what was the 50s like? And just let her go. I might just do that.
Go.
Yeah.
Man.
Like, I mean, we're talking about people, we're talking about people out there that have essentially been around since, before TV. In some cases, there's still individuals alive on the planet today that were around when essentially like cars were pretty much a brand new idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they're up there, but just to, can you imagine what they you, pretend for a second you're 108 years old, right? Imagine just all the stuff that you've seen over the course of your life. You've seen the early development of the cars, you've seen the early development of the radio, you've seen the early development of the TV, and then followed by, computers and the internet and cell phones and so on and so forth, right? And all of it happened within your lifetime.
It's crazy.
Dude, that's fucking insane. I'm over here thinking, I was born in 1986. Few years after that, in the early 90s, is when, the internet came out with like dial up and all that shit. And yeah, technology has just freaking boomed since then. And a lot of shit has happened, technologically speaking. But I feel as if I'm kind of numbed to the actual like real effect of it, because it all happened basically during the duration of my entire life,
Yeah.
whereas someone like that, you know what would it be like to sit down with someone and go, okay, what did you think when you got the very first microwave ever invented and it was installed in your house and you used it for the first time?
And they're like, this is crazy.
Stuff like, yeah, like you push a button, it heats up your food. What? We've never seen this before. They went from gathering water at a fucking well.
Well, what's funny about that? I've thought about that, and it's weird because there's actually a section of older people, like before a certain year, they'd seen some of the technology, like the cars and stuff like that. And then you got the older ones that are coming out with, like, we're becoming the older ones, and we knew technology. But there's a group that's right in the middle that knew the nothing to everything we have now. And they've seen
Exactly.
they've seen it all. That would be, to me, that's
Exactly.
nuts. Because you knew when it was nothing at all, or your TV shows were on radio, and now you're seeing it on a television.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
wow.
Like I kind of wish to some extent that I can go back in time, not necessarily to bring up bad memories for my great grandfather, but to ask him, hey, what was it actually like in the late 1920s? Like, I know what we learned in history class and whatnot, but Grandpa, tell me what your perspective was. That's something that I never did, and I'll never be able to do, period. But to have a real life, actual perspective, dude.
So your
That would
grandfather
just be,
never, like,
there's so many.
told you stuff?
No, dude. I mean, it was one of those things where, like I said, we would go over there for Thanksgiving. They would come over for Christmas and all that kinds of stuff. But it wasn't like we were over at my great grandparents' house, every other weekend or anything like that. It was a handful of times out of the year, 4 or 5 times out of the year.
Right.
We're all there. It's the entire family. There's like, 30 plus freaking people. Um, so it's not like I had just a shit ton of one-on-one time with my grandpa, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Um, but I kind of wish that I would have been of the mindset then that I am now, where I could have asked those questions and actually been interested in that shit. But I think part of that has to do with growing up and maturing and all that kinds of stuff. I'm in my mid 30s now. You kind of have a different perspective on things. I
Yeah.
remember back, I can remember back 10 years ago when I was 24 and all I wanted to do was work a minimum wage job and then go home and play video games. Like,
Yeah,
oh, how the times have changed.
big time. My
Just
grandfather, I
like,
lived next door from the guy for a long time. He would tell everything, except for he would never talk about when he was in the war. He would not talk about that. But he was
hmm
like I'm a teenager and I'm putting mousse in my hair to get spiked. And he's like, "What are you putting
yeah.
that shit in your hair for? In my day, we used hair tonic." He's one of those
Yeah,
guys.
that shit's gonna dissolve your hair.
What are you doing?
I actually
Doing
had
it when I was your age, I was out trapping. Okay.
I actually had a similar kind of thing with my grandparents. So the story I just told you was with my great grandfather and my great grandmother. When I was growing up, my grandparents, my dad's mom and dad, lived on the same property that I grew up on. I grew up on 12 acres, and they were like our only neighbors for as far as I was concerned, right? Um, and same kind of thing. My grandpa, my dad's dad, he was a Marine. I never once heard or even asked about that. I knew about it, but it was like one of those things where it's like an unwritten rule. No one ever said don't ask, right? But it's kind of like you just know.
Yeah.
Because if grandpa wanted to share that information, he would have just shared it. My grandpa was the kind of guy where he was stern when he needed to be, but he had no problem opening up and showing emotion at the same time, right? So if he wanted to talk about something, he would just talk about it. And the fact that he
Right.
never brought it up, I just never asked. And there's so much now. It's just weird to think of, dude, because when someone's gone, that's when you fully realize, holy shit, I wasted so much potential
Yeah.
not engaging that individual. And I'm not saying that I didn't talk to my grandma or my grandpa. I talked to them as much as I could. I loved them with everything I got in me. But when you get together, those kinds of thoughts don't really get brought up.
Right.
You don't really have that way of thinking of, hey, I should really ask grandma this question or grandpa this question because there's going to come a day where they won't be around. You don't have that thought when they're here, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Especially when you're younger.
So
Like I
part of
think back
me,
now, I'm like,
yeah. Oh,
if I would have known half the stuff about my grandfather that I do now then, sure would have made a whole lot more sense in my head. I wouldn't have thought he was this or that, or
right,
they do things you're like, what the hell was
right.
that? And now I'm older and I know about like I was told the stuff he's been through, and it's like, okay, well now it kind of makes a lot more sense. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
My
You got
grandfather
like
was
a
in
little,
World War II. Hmm?
oh, wow. You got like a little clicking thing going on with your mic
Really?
whenever you're talking. It's like clicking, click, 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 click.
I
I
wonder
think your
why.
gain might be up a little high.
I don't know.
I don't
I'll
know.
know when I edit it. But I find out that he's in World War II, and because he's a little Italian guy, they'd be in an area of
Uh-huh.
a city in Germany where there's a sniper, and they don't know where this guy
Oh.
is. So what do? They send my
Mm-hmm.
grandfather, and he runs across the street to get the sniper to shoot so they can find where he is. That's crazy. This dude,
For
my
real?
grandfather, a little Italian guy, got his gun. He's just running, getting that guy to shoot at him so they can find where the guy was at.
Holy shit. So his job
Yeah,
was basically to just be like live bait.
Yep, draw the guy out of there. He was loaded with medals.
Oh my god, dude.
And I
No,
didn't even I
that's
just knew he was
crazy.
in the military. It wasn't like I was out of high school and living down south, and I found out he ends up in my city newspaper here, and there he is sitting there, and he's got this thing showing all his medals, and I'm like, I didn't even know he had all that. He was pretty decorated.
Wow.
Wouldn't talk about it, just
Wow. Yeah, and I know part of that, is memories and things that get brought up. I've got friends and family members that were, served in the military and whatnot, and it's weird. It is kind of like an unwritten rule, don't
yeah.
ask, don't tell, kind of thing.
If they want to tell you, they will.
Um, yeah, and they'll let you know. But yeah, dude, I don't know. It's just I don't even know where this came from or how this got brought up. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it after we post it. But it's always just been a fascinating thing, dude. Like I legit want to talk to the person who bought the first car ever produced. Like I legit want to talk to the person who bought the first television that was ever produced. Like I don't know why, but I would just love to have those kinds of conversations with people because they're not conversations that I don't think they're conversations that very many people can say they had,
Yeah.
you know.
What's funny is you don't know what it's going to be. You would think you kind of be sitting there expecting it to be like, oh, let me tell you when it first came out, and it'd like be this elaborate story. And for all you know, the guy would be like, the first car that ever came out, piece of junk. And that'd be about it. It's like,
Yeah, I
great
bought
story.
that thing, turned around, sold it 3 days later. It was garbage. Went back to my horse.
Yeah, exactly. My horse can do better than that.
Uh,
He's damn.
speaking of horses and all this and whatnot, dude, I don't know how you feel, but me personally, I've always felt as if I was like born in the wrong era, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
me
Like
too.
I feel like I should have been born in the like mid to mid late ish 1800s. Like call it instead of being born in 1986, why couldn't I have been born in like 1886?
Yeah,
The Wild West, all that when it was the big thing coming about was, trains and all that kinds of shit. And, you find yourself a piece of land and just go, this is mine.
exactly.
In a nutshell.
Well, it's great. I was
You
watching a
know,
thing once how they actually did
oh,
that when they'd open up some land, and they'd be like, the
mhm.
way they did it was there'd be land marked off, and then everybody would get a flag, and then you just run and you find and whoever stuck the flag in first got that piece of property. Could you
What?
imagine? Yeah, could you imagine if
No
that's,
way.
yeah, you don't need to
Oh,
buy
dude,
it. You
I don't know
just
about
if
you,
you can
but I
get there
used to be
before that guy
really
and flag it, it's yours.
hell yeah. I don't know about you, but back in the day, I used to be really fucking fast. I'm down with that.
It's mine.
Just so long as you don't get shot in the process of running to claim that land, though.
Oh, could you imagine? People probably did.
I bet it wouldn't surprise me. Back in those days, dude. Okay, we're talking about days where they literally had duels on Main Street, out in
It
public,
was
just
normal.
because somebody, you know, yeah, you took my beer. No, I didn't. Let's step outside and shoot each other. Cool.
Okay.
Like, hell?
Ay, ay, ay.
But I think that would just be like a fascinating time to have grown up in. And then you go through all that, you survive, right? And then what's next? Here comes the car, here comes the radio, here comes all this stuff. And then by the time, the late 1920s hits, like you and I were just talking about, you're now in your, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. Um, and you're still being a part of current history as well. Like that's just I think it's so cool. And then sometimes I start thinking of, way back in the day, like, oh dude, I totally could have been like throw me in with the Vikings. Give me a fucking axe and a shield. I'll go chop some shit up. Like, hell yeah. You know? Let's go.
Vikings.
Oh, dude, that'd be fun. I'm sure to them it probably wasn't fun. I'm sure it was a very rough life. Short lifespan.
Oh, brutal.
Oh man. See, my brain's weird.
Vikings.
This is why you should never have me start a show. My brain just goes everywhere.
He did it again, folks.
Sorry about that. So what's I know you know, obviously we've been talking to each other tonight for a little bit, but what's new with you? Anything?
Nothing.
The deep
Been one of
sigh.
those weeks. There's not too much
one
new
of
with
those.
me. It's just one of those weeks. I'm just doing the everyday thing. Nothing real special has happened.
Would you say
I had a
it's
little bit of a funk today, but
monotonous?
monotonous.
Monotonous. Let's not get on that again. I feel gross just having said it.
Oh, that's such a dreary word.
I don't like it. I don't like it. We discussed it. We discussed it already. Let's put that word behind us. I should have never brought it up.
Son of a bitch.
What's
a
the
show ruiner.
It's a show. All right, good show, folks. Bye.
He said monotonous. It's over.
Well, you said you're having one of those kinds of weeks. What do you mean?
When you like, I don't know, you're into something and you're like real into it, but then all of a sudden you feel like, why am I wasting my time? I hate when that happens.
It happens to everybody, I'm pretty sure. Dude, I have those days, which then sometimes transitions into being that kind of a week, which can then transition into being that kind of a month. And then next thing you know, 3-4 months have gone by and you're just like, you just got to find your ass, buddy. Just got to find your ass.
The problem with me is sometimes, like, when I get to that part where, especially if it's something I'm really into, but then there's some type of negative on it, it starts taking me this way.
Mm-hmm.
I can be that guy where because my emotions are a little bit stronger than normal. So, like, if I should be here, I'm probably here or here.
Okay.
So it could be something that's not a big deal, but it's brought me down, and now I'm reading into it, and now I'm getting depressed about it. Now I'm like, maybe I'm wasting.
Then you start to
the next thing you know,
it. Yeah.
and then next thing you know, I just tucked the whole damn thing in a trash can, and that was a really bad idea. I let it go somewhere it didn't need to be, and usually there's people involved, and they're like, "Where did you go with that one?"
What happened? You disappeared.
But it happens.
I hear you. It does, and it's something that I truly do believe gets to everybody.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I don't know about you, but for me personally, like, it doesn't even necessarily need to be triggered by something. Like I'll start something, and like you just said, I'll just get super into. Take music for example. Okay, right? I've got Logic on my computer here. You're familiar with Pro Tools. I've got Pro Tools on another device, whatnot. Every once in a while, I'll sit down and I'll start doing something musically on here. And next thing I know, 6 hours has gone by, right?
Yeah.
But it feels like I just sat down 10 minutes ago. Kind of like whenever you and I get on here and we start talking to each other, right?
Yep.
We sit down, 6 hours have gone by.
You're like, what?
But yeah, like, what do you mean it's tomorrow? But I'll finish that session on the in the music software, and I'll go to bed. I'm like, yeah, I made some real good progress. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and doing some more stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow hits, wake up, go through the work day, spend time with the family. Kid goes to bed, wife goes to bed. Now's the time when I can start doing my projects that I'm involved in, right? I think I'd rather just like watch TV. And the next thing I know, that whole I think I'd rather just watch TV feeling has lasted 2 weeks, and it's been 2 weeks since I touched the project. So it's like, well, shit. Now I gotta like force myself to go in there. And now I'm forcing myself to go in there. It feels like work. It doesn't feel like a passion, and
Yeah,
I'm
now
not
the
enjoying
fun's
it.
out of it.
And then it exactly, and then it takes you like a full hour, which is an hour of a torturous feeling to essentially establish that ass groove that I had referred to. And then you find your groove again and you start enjoying it and whatnot. But oh, I totally get it, dude. It sucks.
Or for me,
I hate it when that
sometimes
happens.
I did this. Was it this week? I was working on something I was gonna post, like doing video and music, and I did
Mhm.
all this stuff to it, and then I had a little bit more things I want to do, but I'm looking at it, and I'm like, delete.
That's fantastic.
Like, forget this, delete it, and walked out. It's weird. I don't know what it is, but it hits you, and that's just like, I don't know. That's stupid. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Why? What am I doing this for? Like, oh,
Well,
I
and the
know.
funny
Well,
thing
I was
too.
working on I was gonna do a video about us again, but instead of the outtakes one, I was gonna do one where I was taking pieces of
Mhm.
songs we did together that were awesome and do like just a cool little
Oh, okay.
thing. And dude, I cut through a
Yeah.
shitload of stuff.
Not a
I
not
had
a
done
blooper
quite a
song
bit.
reel.
No, more of a awesome type of, and I got like, I don't know, I had quite a bit done, and I'm like, what am I doing? Delete.
Yeah. Well, that's like me,
Uh,
dude. I shared with you just earlier on this week actually. I'm like, hey, I took a whole bunch of clips from what we had done, and I'm gonna try to figure out some time to sit down and get everything put together, and maybe I can come up with some new content for the social media pages or whatever. And you were awesome. You're like, well, let me know if you want any help with anything. I'm like, cool, dude, but I think I got it. I got some time chiseled out and this and that. And then next thing I know, here we are today. And you know how far I got with that? Exactly how far I had gotten with it when I was talking to you about it, because that time that I thought I was going to have, I
didn't
didn't
pan
have.
out. Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but what I hate is when you, like what you just said, you sit down, you start doing something in your brain, you're like, this is a cool idea. This is really going to work out. And then when you're essentially close to being done with it, you scrap the idea. I do it all the time, all the time. The worst feeling in the world, though, is whether it's 2 days later, 3 days later, or a week later, and you go, damn, that was a really good idea. I really
I gotta
should
do
have
it all
done that.
again.
And
Yeah.
then you start thinking about it and you start going through the process again, and you're like, fuck, I just did this last week. This sucks. And then you just scrap it right then again. Like it's gone, never to
Yeah.
come back.
Uh,
I did
that's what
that
I'm
with a
saying.
I did that with a YouTube channel idea that I had shared with you at one point in time about doing some like meditation type music with
Oh yeah.
videos of the ocean or rain or whatever, because whatever. I made one video and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Nope. That's way too much effort. I'm a lazy fuck. I mean, come
I
on.
need something that's simpler than that.
Hmm.
I know, man.
Oh man.
It's a shame.
Well, the only new thing with me is I think I told you about this already. Yeah, I mentioned it in the group chat. I have this damn wart on my right ring finger, um, on the bottom. So I got one of them wart remover band-aid things, and God, is it annoying, dude. It's not the
I
first
never
time.
get them.
It's not the first time I've had it. Like it's recurring. It comes back. I'll do these band-aid things and it'll go away, and then 4, 6, 8 months later, whatever, I'm like, oh shit, my little wart thing's coming back, and then I won't pay any mind to it, and then another, you know couple months go by and it's right back to being exactly how annoying it was when I got rid of it the last time. I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta go buy those
Are you,
again.
like, not completely
Dude, you're
getting
so
rid
lucky.
of it?
You're lucky. I don't know, dude. Like, it'll take it down all the way to where it's just smooth skin, just like the other fingers on my hand, right? To
Yeah, but
where I
that's
look at it and I'm like, okay, no wart, it's gone, right?
you realize they
Um,
root, man.
yeah, it goes inside, right? It's underneath the skin. And what I usually do, because like I said, this isn't the first time. This is like the third or fourth time I've gone through this over the years now. What I've been doing the last few times is I'll just keep wearing the medicated Band-Aid. Whatever, I should have brought the pack out here with me because I can't remember the name of the actual, some kind of, I don't know, whatever eats away at it. Um, but I'll continue to wear it even after I notice that it's smooth skin now, and it like creates this little divot in my finger,
Mm.
right? And it's just like, whoa, like how far is that gonna go? Yeah, I've only got like 7 layers of skin. I mean, how far do I want to let this go before I'm at my meat and then my bone? Uh, so once it starts getting that little indentation to it, I'm like, okay, we're done. So I don't know. I've been contemplating like going in and having someone do the whole thing. You know how they like inject it, like kind of like a
Oh,
mole
yeah.
or whatever. They inject it and they go in and cut it out. I've been debating on that, but I'm right-handed. I use my right hand for like everything, and I don't know what it would be like not to be able to use my ring finger. Period. At least with the bandage on, and I wrap it with electrical tape so it's a little more sturdy. But I can still use my hand for everything. Like I can go out and I can swing a hammer right now if I needed to. But if I have them, I guess you'd say surgically remove it, like that part of my finger is pretty much out of commission, you know.
Shouldn't be. Not the way they do things
Yeah.
today.
I don't know how they do things anymore. All I know is I don't have the greatest insurance coverage in the world, and I don't think insurance would pay for it. Probably have to pay for it
You
out of
work for the
pocket. I am
government.
broke.
You should have incredible insurance.
I do not work for the government. We are contracted through the government, but we are a private entity.
Still. So when I
Which
worked
means
for
it's work.
I
Not
worked
really. It's
for
fine.
I worked for a company doing industrial kitchen appliances for like restaurants and hotels and stuff. And
Mhm,
there's jobs we would get that would be like at a government building. And whenever we did
mhm.
that, we had to get paid totally differently. We actually made better money.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I want to make better money.
Don't we all?
Maybe this thing will start paying.
Oh, it's gonna.
I know we made a penny the other week. That was cool.
That penny, you know what they say?
Hey, that's
A
forward
penny
progressive of
earned
everybody.
is a penny.
A penny earned is a penny. It's fantastic.
I got even a couple of Russians are now like in a guy in Poland. Tell your buddies, man.
That's
I hope
cool.
you guys can even understand it. We can't translate it. You know, people
Oh,
say, but you'd be surprised when you go
I don't
overseas. A
know.
lot of people know English.
Oh, dude, yeah. From what I understand, yeah. I haven't been overseas. I mean, I went out of the US to go to Algodones, Mexico, like once. It's a little border town, just south of Arizona, because my grandparents lived in Yuma. Um, once the property I told you where I grew up and my grandparents lived on the same property,
Oh, yeah.
when that property was sold, my parents moved locally where I am now, and then my grandparents moved to Yuma, Arizona to retire. So we would go out there for holidays and stuff. And one year we went to Algodones, Mexico, and I crossed the border, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm not in the United States anymore. It all kind of still looks the same a little bit. You know? And then we were there. I bought cigarettes like crazy cheap, dude. Uh, what I was smoking at the time, it was I mean, this is years ago. A carton in the US at that time of cigarettes was like $71 and change, if I remember
There's a
correctly.
lot of money
And a
to kill
carton of
yourself.
cigarettes, yeah, well, a carton of cigarettes has 10 packs of
Yeah.
cigarettes in it with 20 cigarettes per pack, right? So 71 and change or whatever it was. But all I remember is I bought um 4 cartons of cigarettes in Algodones because they were like $22 and change or some shit like that. And it was the same brand that I was smoking Marlboro Reds at the time. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting like $50 off. So I loaded up, dude. I'm walking across the border, going through, customs. I got my cigarette cartons with me. They're like, let's check your bags. I'm like, check it out. I got
Eh,
cheap smokes. I'm all like, shit, right? And my grandma was a smoker. My grandpa, he wasn't smoking at that point in time. He had quit because he had essentially at that point he had beat cancer twice. But he had smoked from in his early teens all the way up until he got cancer the first time, in his early 60s. But he didn't smoke, and they basically said grandpa basically said the same thing you just said. Way to kill yourself. Sorry. Just saying.
and it don't freak you out knowing that
I
your
was
grandpa
happy
had
as shit.
cancer. It doesn't make you go, oh shit.
It kind of does. It's a thought. It's a thought. For sure. No, I mean I've shared with you, I need to quit smoking. Um, I legitimately want to quit smoking, but I want there to be just some magic pill.
I'm
Like
done.
take the blue pill or take the red pill or whatever,
Well,
and you'll never smoke another day in your life. Like, yes, I'm that kind of person because I have that much of an addictive personality when it comes to those things, which is why I don't drink and I don't do other kinds of drugs. I smoke. I drank and did other things in the past. It was really hard to stop.
well, this is coming from you. So I remember what you were supposed to do because you were quitting already not long ago. And then you're kind of,
Mhm.
and your wife was like, just have the cigarette. And then she said, well, maybe because you'll be working with your brother while you're doing this project, because it'll be stressful, just smoke some. And then when you're done with that, then quit.
Yeah, that was talking about the studio build. Yeah,
And
because I quit smoking on January 1st, and I'm not a New Year's resolution kind of person. I've done the whole I'm gonna set New Year's resolutions, and then I realized at a very early age, okay, people set New Year's resolutions because we
never
know
do
we're gonna
them.
break them. Exactly. So I told myself I'm gonna quit January 1st. It's gonna be a brand new start to a brand new year. It is not a resolution per se, but this is the day that I'm choosing because the holidays were over. New Year's Eve was now over. We didn't have to worry about celebrating anything holiday-ish speaking until mid-February for my grandma and my dad's birthday. So I knew there wasn't going to be any big family get-togethers where I would ruin it by being the biggest asshole on the planet because I hadn't had a cigarette, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's why I picked that day, not to be a resolution, but because the holiday season was over. And I made it 8 days. I quit cold turkey. I had never quit cold turkey before. I'd always had patches or gum or something. And on that 8th day, dude, I remember I was sitting in my quote unquote man cave, just watching TV. My son was asleep. My wife was asleep. It was only, if I remember correctly, I want to say it was about 9:45. Okay. So it wasn't even 10 o'clock yet. And all of a sudden, I just, and it was now, this would be the third time that day that had happened to me. I got super dizzy. I got nauseous as shit. Felt like I was going to throw up. um, and crazy hot,
Mm.
super hot. Um, I don't think I've shared this with you before. I'm hypoglycemic. My my brother's diabetic. I'm hypoglycemic.
Yeah, you told me that.
So I'm the opposite. I need to have constant sugar, right, in order to be balanced out. So I thought I was going through that. All three times that happened that day, I'm like, shit, is my blood sugar too low? No, I just ate and I had a shit ton of carbs. No, I just had some fucking candy. Like, what the hell? So I got up, I went outside because it was cold. I went outside, no jacket. I'm in basketball shorts and like a tank top. Right? This is like January 8th. It's cold as shit outside. And I'm sitting out there. I don't have any cigarettes and I should be freezing. 5 minutes goes by and I'm still burning up. And I'm like, something's wrong. What is going on? And I'm like, fuck, cigarette.
Withdrawal.
So I did the absolute worst thing that I could possibly do. I put on some pants. And after I put on those pants, I grabbed my
You
wallet.
went to
And
yeah,
after
you
I
went to
grabbed
the
my
stove.
wallet, I grabbed my key. And with every step of the process, from putting the pants on, wallet, keys, shoes, jacket, hat, every article that I acquired, I told myself, put it back. Just put it back. Go to bed. Put it back. Go to bed. Go to bed. But something inside of me was like, no, I feel like I'm dying. And I did. I felt like I was dying.
Weird.
So I went to the store, bought smokes, still smoking to this day. And like I said, I want to quit. I know I need to quit. My baby girl is going to be born in a couple months. My son is going to turn 4 this year. I need to quit so that I can be around for them. But now there's this like inherent fear, right? Of if it went that awry on day number 8, when those kind of withdrawal symptoms are supposed to occur between days like 2 and 5, but they didn't hit me until day 8. What's going to happen when that happens again? Like, am I actually going to die? Like, I know I probably won't, but it's
Yeah.
just this like it scares me. Like, and
Oh, I
I've
know.
quit some
I get
stuff
it.
in the past. Yeah, dude, I've quit some stuff in the past. I've shared with you, I don't drink because I'm an alcoholic. I don't do other drugs because I have like the biggest addictive personality on the fucking planet. I've gone through some hardcore withdrawals from some hardcore stuff. Um, I mean, most recently was essentially uh oxycodone because that's what they have in Percocet. And with all my back issues and shit, I was prescribed Percocet and Flexeril and naproxen and all these other kinds of,
And that stuff is
prescription
addictive.
medications. Yeah, dude, and I got hooked on those. So what did I do? I quit those cold turkey. And as I
Oof.
told you in a previous episode, I just deal with the pain. I just deal with the pain. I go to my chiropractor on a regular basis and, get massages and stuff. But for the most part, I just deal with the pain because I'd rather deal with the pain than be on the drugs, you know. And the withdrawals from those, dude, they made that
Mm.
cigarette withdrawal look like it was a walk in the fucking park, you know. Um, but it just pisses me off. It really does because I've always prided myself on being of the mindset that, you can do anything that you put your mind to. And I've tried to quit smoking cigarettes over the years so many times. I mean, countless times. I can't even remember how many times I've tried. And it's like the one thing that I consistently fail at every single time, you know. And I try my best to be mindful. I try my best when I'm not having cigarettes, like, don't be an asshole to your wife. And then what am I? I'm an asshole to my wife. Like, that's not fair to her, you
Yeah.
know. Like I said, I wish there was some kind of magic pill where you just take it and it doesn't necessarily take away the desire to smoke the cigarette, but it takes away that withdrawal or that asshole type feeling. And I've gotten on the the bupropion or whatever the fuck it's called, the anti-smoking medication stuff before prescription from my doctor, and even that didn't fucking work. So if that ain't gonna work, there ain't no magic pill. Just saying.
It's a tough one, dude.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, man, because it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, as a smoker, if you're around other people who are smokers
It
and
makes
in
it
a
so
social
hard.
setting, everybody's going out to have a smoke. That's one thing. But in my case, I am now the only smoker in my family. And my wife's side of the family, her brother smokes, and that's about it. Right. So him and I, we're always outside having a smoke or whatever whenever we get together for a family event at her her mom's house. Um and it's one of those things like, it's my niece's birthday and someone comes outside because we decided to have a cigarette after eating, and they're going, "Hey, we're going to do presents now." Shit, I just lit this. Okay. And then you put it out and you go.
Yeah.
Or in my case, we go to my parents' house, you know, with my family, my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my wife. I'm the only smoker, so we'll get together for something, and then I'll go out and I'll have a cigarette and I'm gone for 5-10 minutes. God knows what I missed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at that point where it's just kind of like you really start thinking about it as you get older, I guess. Again, going back to our previous conversation about maturing as an individual, right? It's, I want to quit so I have that time with the family. How much time have I already given up?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Just some of the things I think about.
I think you'll get there, dude. You're gonna find the
I
way
know
that
I
works for
will.
you.
I know I will. It's just a matter of essentially just because, like I said, I've gone through way worse withdrawals than what I just explained with the whole 8th day in. I have experienced like the worst withdrawals that you can probably possibly imagine. They're not fun. I'm talking like damn near bedridden, like, you can't move kind of withdrawals. Um, yeah, it's just, I'll get there. And I'm gonna get there before my daughter is born. I know that. And I know that for a fact, whether it's the day before she's born or this month, it's gonna be before she's born. She will never, ever smell a cigarette on me or see me smoke a cigarette or anything. I've already blown that for my son. I actually tried to quit before he was born and obviously failed at that. But
And now you done got it
yeah,
recorded on here.
I know. And it's going to be up for everybody to hear and watch on YouTube land. And oh, shit. I just announced it to the world, all 50 some odd people that are following us on Facebook, and the like one person that's, following the actual podcast in Russia.
Oh, Lord.
It is going to happen. This year is my year.
That's the way you got to talk. Positivity,
See, and then
brother.
we have moments like that. Yeah, dude. And then I have moments like that where I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And I just want to take these out and just throw them away right now. I'm not going to, because I'm going to have a cigarette when we're done with this. But like, it's weird because every once in a blue moon, like a day will come. It just hit me earlier this week. It was like, I want to say it was it was Tuesday. 99.7% sure it was Tuesday. If it was a different day, it doesn't matter. But I woke up and it was one of the days where I hadn't gone to the gas station to essentially replenish and buy another pack of smoke. So I woke up and I did not have cigarettes, right? Tuesday morning. And I'm like, fuck it, today's the day. So I went and I didn't smoke. And then, later on down the day, my lunch hour hit, which by lunch hour, I mean, I had, 5 minutes to myself. And I went, God, I really want a cigarette. Good thing I didn't tell anybody I'm quitting today. So let me just go to the gas station. It's 30 seconds away. Buy my smoke. Again,
Yeah.
tying in with what you and I were talking about earlier, starting something and then just scrapping it.
No, you're
A lot of
just
people have,
practicing.
yeah, I've had conversations with a lot of people that are like, you should try weaning off. Like I'm a pack-a-day smoker, so I smoke 20 cigarettes, sometimes more in a day, right? Uh, yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot of time wasted in some
Well, what
people's
if you did
opinions.
wean? What if you like only
I've
smoked when? What if you only smoked when you needed it? Like, okay, I gotta have one, not just because.
I've tried that. And
Yeah.
that's what I tell these people that bring up the whole weaning process. I've tried that. I once, about 2 years ago, I got to the point where I was smoking 5 cigarettes a day, and that was it. But in between those 5 cigarettes was absolute torture. Absolute torture. Because I'm one of those people, I'll have a cigarette, and you've seen it in conversations that we've had, video calls on the phone. I'll have a cigarette, I'll be done with it. We'll carry on in the conversation. We'll get onto a hot topic. I'll get all excited about something. And what's the first thing I do?
Light
I
up.
light up another one.
Oh, dude, let me tell you
You
about
know,
that. Yeah.
exactly. I'm that guy. It's like become integrated as part of my lifestyle, which sucks. I hate it. I hate absolutely everything about it. I can't stand it, but I have to have it. Total addict's mindset. Total addict's mindset. But I have totally just gone away from the whole other aspect of an addict's mindset of, I can quit when I want. You know, oh, I'll just have one more and then I'll quit. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll quit on Monday. No, it's everybody I've talked to who's quit smoking, every single one of them, either A, they had something happen in their life medically that necessitated it, or B, they just woke up one day and decided that day, I'm done.
I'm done.
So I'm hoping I can be in the B category because I really don't want something medical to happen that requires it. That would suck. I'm a very healthy individual, medically speaking. Um, so yeah, we'll see. This is my year though. I said it
I
earlier.
believe
I'll
it.
say it again. Before
I pray
my
for
daughter's
you.
born, it might be the night before she's born. It might be tomorrow. I don't know. But before she is here, these are going to be no more. And I will just suffer through the fucking torture. It's fine. I might have to go stay with my parents for a while so I don't take it out on my wife.
There's always light
Her
at
and
the
I have
other end of
actually
the
had that
tunnel.
conversation. Yeah, her and I have actually had that conversation. And my wife, she's a sweetheart. She's phenomenal. She's a wonderful human being. But whenever I talk to her, honey, I think I'm gonna quit smoking. She brought it up after this last time. This last time in January, dude, she was an angel. Like all 8 days. Dude, I think back on it, I was the biggest ass. And she exercised so much patience and so much understanding. And there had been previous times I tried to quit, and it was like I felt as if she was like egging on an argument, right? Like, how far can I push him till he gets to the point where he needs to go buy a cigarette or buy a pack of cigarettes? And I don't think she actually did that on purpose, but like that's how I felt because I was cigarette
Yeah.
deprived, right? So it's a part of the addict's mindset. But just a few weeks back, I told her, I said, "Hey, I really do need to quit smoking." And she's like, "Okay, well, here's the thing. Uh, I love you. You're a fucking asshole whenever you try to quit, so you might want to stay with your folks." So that's why I say it, because there's and I can't deny it, dude. I cannot deny it. There is truth to her statement in that. And she might actually be right. That might be the way to go. Mom, dad, can I stay in your guest room for like 2 weeks? And then every day I'll just come over here. I'll come home. I'll get my time in with my son, and Britt or whatever. And then, okay, go back. Stay away. Because the other thing too is I'm a snorer. Like I snore, and my wife wakes me up because I'm like a fucking bear, right? And she wakes me up every once in a while. She's like, "Honey, you're snoring." And you know, for me, I'm kind of a dick.
You tell me this a lot.
So, because it's true, she'll wake me up and then because I'm snoring or whatever, so that I can like move positions or what, so she can fall back asleep. Understandably so. I can understand that mentality sitting here talking to you right now. But I'll wake up in the morning and she's just super pissed off at me, right? I'm like, what's wrong with you? Do you not remember what you said to me last night? What did I say to you last night? Well, I woke you up because you were snoring. You woke me up. Oh shit.
Oh
I
shit.
don't remember. Yeah. Like I 9 times out of 10, I have no clue the next morning.
My
Like it's
wife's
like
like
I'm
that.
sleep arguing or something. I don't know. But I do know that when I haven't had cigarettes and she wakes me up, I remember every single time. And I say some shit. I'm surprised. Yeah, every once in a while I'm like surprised that she's even still around, to be honest, because I'm not the greatest human being on the
You are the a-hole of the
planet.
century. My wife's
Oh,
like that, can't
dude, you have
remember stuff,
no idea.
man. I'll sit there and I'll get close to her at
Oh
night,
yeah.
like I'll roll over, like I'm gonna snuggle close to my wife, put my arm around her. It'll last a minute or two, and all of a sudden she'll do whatever to get away, or sometimes she'll actually grab my hand and throw it off of her, and I'm like, well, good lord. And then next morning I'm like,
My wife does
I'll
that
bring it up to
sometimes.
her and she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you chucked my arm off, like, get the hell away from me. I don't know anything I'm doing. She's actually woke up and looked right at me and would say something. And the next morning I was like, you even like, I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was like, what are you talking about? You woke up and you were like, I don't remember that. Like, no recollection
Yeah.
whatsoever.
That happens with my wife every once in a blue moon. Like she'll wake up and we'll have a full blown conversation. I'm talking like 5-10 minute conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll both go to sleep. Night, honey. Night. Love you too. Right? Wake up the next morning and I try to get the conversation going again. Hey, you remember what we were talking about last night? What about da 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 da? What are you talking about? The conversation we had last night. I'm like, remember? Like we talked for like 10 minutes. With her, that happens like maybe once every few years, if that. But apparently, I talk in my sleep too. I don't know. I guess my mom talks in her sleep all the time.
That's
I
a
don't know.
scary thing, man. You don't know what you're going to be saying.
Yeah, that's actually fairly true. Fairly true. Apparently, I like to. It's not so bad anymore now that I do what I do for a living. But when I had my previous job, I would have nightmares and I would talk in what's the word I want to look for? Uh Whatever. I would basically talk in codes, right?
Like
Because the
talking
job that I
tongue.
had, we used no, not tongues, code, like radio codes.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah. So, because that's how we would communicate over the radio, is we would have specific radio codes that meant specific things. And
Like Morse
I'd
code?
have
Like you're going,
yeah, exactly. Just clicks and whistles, buddy. Clicks and whistles.
oh, yeah.
But it was essentially industry jargon that I
Yeah.
was using in nightmares, and apparently that happened all the time, like on a regular, multiple time a week kind of occurrence, according to her. She's like, I'm so happy that you've been at your job for at least that has stopped because I've been here so long. I guess it happened
That's weird.
once in a great, yeah. Because I've been in my current job now for like 5 years, and her and I had a conversation. I want to say it was about a year ago, and I asked her, "Do I still do that?" And she's like, maybe like once a year, if that." Cool. So I'll have to ask her again. See what she says.
Hmm.
16 seconds left until we get our alarm buzz, by the way.
What?
Just saying. I know. 8 seconds.
We didn't laugh enough in this one.
3 seconds. I know this one was kind of deep, wasn't it? We got a little heavy.
Yeah. It was a little dark. Not dark, but
there's our time. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say dark, but this one
it was kind
it
of
wasn't
heavy.
I didn't have any intention of it being, but we got a little heavy.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. I feel good. See, sometimes you just gotta get shit out, I guess. You just
I feel light as a feather.
diarrhea.
Sometimes, yeah.
Feel light as a feather. Tiptoe through the tulips.
Tiptoe
You know,
through
one
the
of these
tulips.
days, yeah, one of these days, you know what we're gonna have to do on here, right? We're gonna have to figure out a way where we can load up backing track for a song to play through our headphones, and then you and I just do a live duet on here. That'd be fun.
I was thinking about that.
I don't know how it would work, but that'd be cool. Although I don't know how we would add like reverb or EQ or compression or anything like that to it because it's through Zoom. Just me and you singing, just totally flat, like how we're talking right now. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about something. I legit wanted to talk to you about this, and this is what I had planned on talking to you about today.
And you forgot?
Obviously, we don't necessarily anything, but I really wanted to talk to you about it. Do you mind, first off, if we go over our hour on this one just a little bit?
Nope.
Okay. I'll set another, what do you want to call it? 10-minute timer? Sure. I'll just do
You know what you got to say. How long do you think it'll take you?
Whoa, that did an hour and 10. No, there we go. Okay. So yesterday I went down a YouTube / Google rabbit hole on mixing boards. Mixing boards. Audio mixers, like analog. You can actually touch it and move dials and stuff. Dude, I want one really bad. Really bad. Dude, they got some. There were a couple I found. One was called a Mackie, one was a Yamaha, another one was a Behringer, whatever. But basically, all of them, they had, you have your stack or whatever. You've got your input, and then you've got your gain, then you've got your compression, and then you've got like your high end EQ, or maybe you've got a button that does a low end cut at like 80 hertz or whatever. And then you've got your high EQ, your mid EQ, your low EQ, and then you've got your little fader at the bottom or whatever. So you can EQ your shit, you can add compression to your shit, you can do some makeup gain or whatever you want to do before your audio from the mic even hits the system. Dude, think about that and how much of a game changer that would be for something like Smule.
Yeah.
Because Smule has super shitty audio. If you ever listen to a Smule recording that you've recorded through just the speakers on your phone, not plugging in headphones or anything, just your phone speakers, it is the worst quality on the fucking planet.
That's why I've been taking them and then going through Pro Tools.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if you had that mixer and they've got 48 volt capabilities, phantom power. If you had that mixer just like your audio interfaces with your Focusrite, right? You connect it to your
Yep.
tablet, or in my case, my phone. You have all of that being processed and done before it ever goes into Smule.
Yeah.
Dude, it's got to make it sound that much better. And you might even not even need to go into Pro Tools or Logic or Reaper or whatever program dog you're using.
Well, it's funny
Dude,
because I thought the
I
same
want one.
thing. I was actually looking at some today.
You were looking at mixers today? That's epic. I was doing it last night. You're doing it today. Dude, we're like on the same wavelength. I'm telling you, bro.
Well, I thought about it for that, and I
Dude, it's
thought
super.
about it for even doing like this because I could mix, and I got to have like
Mm-hmm.
sounds and stuff set up to where if we want to add something, and it would kind of be a little
Yep.
kind of like radio stations have their stuff and they can add sounds or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought that would be cool. My brother's
Hell
got
yeah.
something like I wonder if he still has it. He had a Roland, and it was cool. It had this eye on it, and when you put your hand over it, would slow and speed up the song. It was kind of like mixing with a laser. And it had
That's
all
cool.
kinds of stuff. You could set up things. I wonder if he still has that. If you don't use it, I'll steal it, damn thing.
Wow. Do it. Do it.
But yeah, it is weird you thought
Yeah,
about that
dude.
because today I was on Marketplace looking through shit like that.
Yeah, I didn't go on Marketplace at all. I was just watching the YouTube videos on mixers and how they work and what's what, and then affordable ones and whatnot. And I was looking them up on like Amazon. I told myself I'm gonna check Facebook Marketplace today, but then with work and meetings and shit, I didn't have any time.
Yeah.
So you already know what I'm gonna do when we're done with this. I'm gonna be jumping on Facebook Marketplace, see if anybody locally has anything.
I
But
actually followed them when we lived in Virginia on a farm. We had a bunch of our buddies on there, and one of them brought all his mixing stuff, and he had a mixer and speakers. And I actually would get on there and I would mix some music with that damn thing. It was pretty cool. I got used to like putting records on and then slowly fading one in and out to the other. And
that's awesome.
it's a cool aspect.
My only concern with it is if it has phantom power, it basically makes my Focusrite obsolete. That's the only
Not
thing.
necessarily. Not knowing how you
I
would
don't
hook,
know.
not what you got to hook up to your phone or whatever you're using, you might still need to go through the Focusrite.
It is a possibility. And I did watch a video that showed me how you would hook up from the mixer to the audio interface into a cell phone.
Yeah.
Like I went that far with it. The last video that I watched was I ended up looking it up on Google just to see the pricing of this thing because it was super crazy cool. It was like a PreSonus or PreSonus, however it's pronounced, and it was something that could be like totally automated, and at the push of a button, it would like move all the knobs together in sequence.
Yeah.
So like he could get everything set up for how the drummer wanted it. He could get everything set up for how the guitarist wanted it. He could get everything set up for the bass player, everything set up for the vocalist. And then by just pushing a button, he could switch them, and all of the knobs and everything would like move automatically. I'm like, whoa,
That's
that's
cool.
cool. So I looked it up. Yeah, it's like thousands of dollars.
Oh, you bet.
Like, nope,
Thousands. Oh yeah.
that's not in that's not in my $50 price range. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also not gonna be a Christmas gift either,
Just
probably.
oh, definitely not. No.
What do you want for Christmas? Yeah, that's not
But then
happening.
again,
Move on.
well, then again, though, the Mackie and the Behringer, well, not the Behringer, the Mackie and the Yamaha were both. The Yamaha was like 209, and the Mackie was like 229, and then the Behringer one that I found was like $80 or whatever. But from what I understand, Behringer doesn't necessarily have the greatest name as far as quality is concerned. I went down a little bit of that rabbit hole as well when I saw that. I'm like, hey, this one does the same thing both those do. Um, what's wrong with it? Because it's so much cheaper. And then come to find out, Behringer kind of has a reputation for putting out shit that's not that great, which is why it's so cheap. But they were recently, I don't know about recently, but they were bought out by another company that has since been putting more quality products out. So anyway, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to mention that to you. I'm really thinking about trying to figure out how to save or sell some stuff to get myself a little analog mixer. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, they can be fun.
Oh yeah. And then I
Speaking
gotta
of
figure out a way to get a
marketplace,
compressor.
did you think
I
about
got so much
looking at
delicate.
market? You ever think about looking at marketplace for like your lumber and stuff to get your thing built and get it cheaper? Because here, there's
Nope.
people that's got plywood, they got 2x4s, and they're selling it like dirt cheap, man. I seen one
I've
today where a
seen
dude's
things
got
like
like
that out here.
42x4s and they want $1 something a piece. And I'm like, holy shit, I wish you could just buy those right now because everything's so freaking
I've seen
expensive.
stuff like that on marketplace out here because I did a search for that in the beginning, right? Before I decided I'm just gonna buy everything brand new from, big box store X, Home Depot, not a sponsor yet, but they might possibly, they probably won't be one day. That's fine. But I looked on marketplace at the very beginning stages of thinking about this, and the stuff that was available was just, it was all just rotten wood, dude. It was
Oh, that's too
bad. Like
bad.
I wouldn't even put it in my fireplace kind of wood, the stuff that I found. So I just, nope, it's fine.
Unless it's
It is what
different
it is.
there, I would just keep watching every so often because here I could show you. There's tons. People are like, yeah, I got all this. Come get it. I'm like, man,
Will they ship it?
uh,
Come get it. I can't come get it, but can you send it to me?
that's what's killing me. I keep between stuff I have and stuff I keep seeing around here. I immediately think of you, and I'm like, son of a bitch, if I could just get it to him.
Aw. Aw.
You be on my mind
You're my
sometimes.
best. You're my best New York friend.
That's saying something.
Well, Rai Rai's in New
Well,
York too. He doesn't matter.
it's just
Just kidding. Speaking of which, we had our very first guest in the previous episode. I mentioned that at the beginning of this one. We got to get Rai on here.
yeah,
Dude, that would
Rai's
be a
got to
hoot.
come on. Heck yeah, just to
That
get him
would be
on
an
here.
absolute kick in the pants.
Once we
We
get
gotta
him
get his.
on, and he
He's in your
sees
time zone.
he sees how loose it is, and then he'll open up and he'll enjoy it.
Oh, he'll either love it or he'll hate it.
One of the two.
I think he'll love it.
I think he'll love it
he'll have
too.
a
But
blast. Well, and that's the thing, dude. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm just having so much damn fun just chit-chatting. Ah, shit. All
I'm
right.
loving it. I'm loving it. I'm truly, truly loving it. I actually look forward to like this will be over, and then I'm bummed for the rest of the night because we're not doing no more. And then all week I keep, well, okay, it's Monday. Oh, yes, Tuesday. We're getting closer. Oh, yes. And then it's Friday, and I'm just like,
It's
yes!
almost time to build. Yeah.
I love it.
Game day.
And then you send me 10 minutes
It's
break
definitely
game, and I'm like,
it's definitely something to look forward to. Yeah.
yeah, it is.
I look forward to it every week.
It's wonderful.
It's like it's a good end of the week, Plus, I get to sleep in on Saturdays, so I part of me still feels bad because right now it's midnight 30, so I know it's 3:30 where you're at.
Why do you feel bad?
But
Stop feeling bad.
The other part of me, well, for you, but the other part of me is like, hey, it's still early for me though. I don't have to wake up tomorrow. I hope I wake up tomorrow.
It don't bother me none. Ain't
Well,
no
shit,
thing.
bud. That was fun.
Yeah,
that
it
went
was.
by way too fast.
Too damn fast.
Well,
it's depressing.
Should we say something to the folks?
Yeah.
One of these days we're gonna have to record an actual outro.
Yeah, maybe.
Just saying.
As we always say, just like you, I hate saying it because people got to get sick of hearing it. Every single thing you watch, they say it. Like, comment, share.
Well, let's just not say it.
Too late, I did.
Oh, you done said it. Like, comment, share. I said it too. Now you don't have to feel so bad. Thanks for joining us.
Y'all. It was great. See y'all next time.